Hey guys, it's Tiffany, and I am back for my October wrap up. I have decided that I'm no longer doing TBRs because I never follow them. So from now on, I'm just gonna do my wrap up. So the first book I read in October was The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, and this was a I'll create exclusive edition book. I really liked the book. It was about basically the bone houses are what you would call zombies, I guess. So it was definitely for like a Halloween spooky theme. But there's this girl who, her and her family bury bones so that they don't come back from the dead. And she finds that her uncle owed a lot of money to the town or to the guy that runs the town, and so she's trying to make money to pay off their debt so they won't take the house. She meets a stranger in the woods, a map maker who's trying to make a map of the area and take back to his kingdom. Basically, so the two of them together set off on this journey to figure out, well, first of all, so he can do the map, but they also, along the way, find out that there are more bone houses. They're starting to actually come into the community, which they didn't do before. There's a goat. It's really cute and funny. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it too much more because, you just have to read it. But it was very cute. It was very fun. I liked it. Was it my favorite? No. Would I read it again? Maybe if I was feeling in like a mood where I just wanted to read something that was kind of quirky and fun. But yeah, it was a good book. And I think, if you want to read something that's fun and quick and easy, The Bone Houses is definitely it. Okay, and so the next book I read, and this one is called After by Anna Todd, and it is an adult contemporary book. I don't read a lot of adult contemporaries, but I needed a mental health break. So just throwing that out there. I needed a break. I needed to read things that weren't really hard. I was having a rough couple weeks, so I picked up After. And to be honest, I actually did like it. The writing is not great at all. In fact, the writing really needs help. But it was something that the main character, Tessa, she goes to college. She falls in love with Hardin. She meets him. They start this love affair of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. A lot of angst, a lot of, will they, won't they make it? Will they, won't they to get together? Some sex scenes thrown in. There you have it. The end has a really big cliffhanger, and it's very shocking. So, if you're gonna read this, you definitely want to have the second book, because even if you didn't really like the first book that well, after the cliffhanger, you want to read the second book. Anna Todd she started this series on Wattpad. I never pronounce it correctly. Wattpad. And so you can actually find the books on Wattpad for free, but the names are a little bit different. So, if you want to read them, go for it. So anyway, because I read that and there was a cliffhanger after we collided, book 2, couldn't help myself. So then we jump into these two again, and we learn some secrets and whatever. I liked the second one better. It was written better, and it also had both Tessa and Hardin's point of view, which I really, really like books that have the male and the female. I feel like it brings the book, more well-rounded. Again, is it the best book ever? No. This one leaves on a cliffhanger too, but it's not as shocking. So I'm taking a little break from the After series. I'm going to come back to it probably over the holiday season and finish reading the series. But I would also like to add that there's some emotional abuse in these books. The relationship is very, very, very toxic. If you want to read it, just know going in that it is toxic. I know that when I read it, that it's not a healthy relationship, and that we shouldn't strive to have that relationship. However, it's just a guilty pleasure for me to read. I in no way, shape, or form condone that type of relationship, nor do I have that type of relationship. So I just want to let you know, if you do decide to read it, that there may be some triggers. So just be careful and know where you are emotionally before you read that. Now, that being said, when I said I needed a mental health break, and then I read something like that had triggers for, potentially some emotional abuse to the main character. What I mean by mental health break is that I needed to read something that was quick, that I didn't have to think about, that I could just read and take my mind off of things. And that just happened to be this book series for me. And it may not be for you. It may be something for you that does not, that may trigger something so you don't want to read it. For me, I'm very much healthy in my relationship and in my emotional state as far as any type of domestic or emotional violence comes in. So, again, I'm going to finish reading it. Can't help myself. I'm a sucker when I start a series. Okay, sorry about that. Didn't mean to ramble on and on. I just want to make sure, if you take my recommendation and you decide to read it, you know kind of what you're getting into. And then, sadly, I only read 4 books this month, or for the month of October, which I really wanted to read 6, but, So the next book I read was Verify by Joelle Charbonneau. And this came in a Beacon box. I got this. I only got this because, and I've never had Beacon box, but I got this because I wanted those Caravel dust jackets, and they had all 3 of them in this box if you did the add-on. So, but I'm kind of glad I did, because I actually really liked this movie. It's basically about this society in the future, of course, where there's like no crime, no guns, no no paper, no pencils. Everything that you do on a tablet, so you can be tracked by the government. Everything that you learn in school has been altered, so they take huge pieces of history out on the textbooks, on the tablets and the computers. You can't write or have writing utensils, citing that we need to recycle because of the earth, but it's really because they don't want people learning anything that they're not teaching. And also the news, I think there's like 2 news stations, and they only focus on what's going on in the news. So it's reminiscent of like Fahrenheit 451, if you've ever read that. In the end, the book was really good, and I do want to read the second book. But there's a girl, and her mother died, and she's an artist. The mother was an artist, the girl's an artist. She kind of comes in contact with sort of what you would call the rebellion. And they're like this hidden underground world that has all these books. It has dictionaries, it has textbooks, anything that's banned that tells the true history of the United States. And so these people want to get out in the world, like the true history, and what they're learning isn't real. But anyway, that's what happens. These people get together, they try to, figure out how to let the world know what's really going on. And you just follow the story. The world building isn't that great. I wish there would have been a little bit more world building, because I feel like it just didn't. Like, you can use your imagination, but I don't know. And it wasn't as urgent as Fahrenheit 451. Fahrenheit 451, there was an urgency, a sense of, like, this is scary, and this is real, and I can't, you know, I have to burn books. You know, the firemen burn books. So if you have books, they burn books. They burn entire houses with books in them. There was this urgency of you know, right and wrong and knowledge. But in this book, because it's young adult and not adult, the urgency is missing, and I think that's what I missed from it. But if you want to read it, I gave it like 3.75 stars. It wasn't quite 4 stars for me. But the first half of the book's a little slower and kind of builds up what's going on. And then the last half of the book has a little bit more action. So anyway, those are my 4 books for this month. Or for October. I really am going to try to, in November, read The Cruel Prince and The Wicked King, because The Queen of Nothing I will be getting in my Owlcrate box, hopefully at the end of the month. And then I also would like to start the Scythe series, Thunderhead and Toll, which Toll will be here tomorrow. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not doing any more actual TBRs because I don't know what's going to happen. But right now I'm reading Treason of Thorns, which I got in a Lit Joy Crate book box. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys. Like and subscribe.